Hey everyone, I'm Rachel Castille, and welcome to Typology Tuesday. I'm going to be talking about coming back to the present, and this looking through the lens of the Enneagram. This system is describing the heart patterns that we get locked into that lead us away from the presence of God, and it originates in some lie that we believed that seemed true in childhood. And because we're struggling to believe the truth that our heart needs, we end up being caught in coping strategies and trying to be good enough, trying to create safety for ourselves, trying to create boundaries so that we can have a sense of self, have power, and we are reacting to things that we've gone through. And these sorts of things can keep us out of alignment with God's will for our life and us being able to flow in the spiritual gifts that we naturally carry already. So, looking at the Enneagram, it is a read of 9 types. The way it's set up, it's a circle with numbers all around the circle. So, it's a circle of 9. And then there's a core emotional struggle of 3 of the types. 8, 9, and 1 have the core emotional struggle with anger. Then 2, 3, and 4 have the core emotional struggle with shame. And then 5, 6, and 7 have the core emotional struggle with fear or anxiety. And this is kind of the thing that we don't notice about ourselves, but it's driving our behavior, it's driving the coping strategy that we found ourselves in. And this is how we cope and basically secure the thing that we're looking for. The shame types in the heart triad, they are creating a sense of worth and value and identity because of an innate sense of shame, of like not knowing their worth. And um the gut types, they are struggling with anger, either expressing it, suppressing it, or denying it. But it's that core emotional thing that's going on underneath, that sense of boundaries and justice and pushing against the world, um, or pushing against themselves, things like that. And then the 3 types in the head triad, who are struggling with anxiety or fear, they're creating a sense of security for themselves, certainty, um, and that sense of safety. And they have their own strategy to do that. And yeah, not noticing that it's fear that is underneath a lot of the behaviors. So, at its core, that is like what's going on an emotional level for all of the 9 types. But each of the 9 types, they have a core desire, they have a core fear, they have a core weakness or vice, and then a core longing. So to kind of break that down, this is rooted in something that they believed as a child, and the pain or the lie, the illusion of that reality, it leads them towards a particular fear in life and a desire that they're chasing that they need, and a vice that they have a propensity towards because of the lie that they believe. And then the core longing, it speaks to the truth that they need in their heart that will actually set them free. When their heart believes it, not just their head, but when they really know this, it sets them free and brings them back to the present. And yeah, so the Enneagram is really looking at the range of how we're not present and what we look like when we are present, and the gifts that we naturally carry that are readily available for other people when we are present. So I'll run briefly through all of the 9 types, and so you can kind of get the archetype of the different people that we all are. So there's even subtypes and lots of variation within this, but I'm just going to look at the core 9. So type 1, they are called the perfectionist. And I'll start with like the lie that their heart believed in childhood. So they felt that it was not okay to make mistakes. That seemed real, either said to them or just they had that, like they got that harsh critic, and it's like, I can't make mistakes. And so the core fear is being wrong, being bad, being evil, being inappropriate, unredeemable, or corruptible. And then their core desire is having integrity, being good, balanced, accurate, virtuous, and right. That's what they go after in life. And then the core vice is resentment. And what that looks like is repressing anger that leads to continual frustration and dissatisfaction with yourself, others, and the world for not being perfect. So they're not able to make mistakes. And then they see other people making mistakes and just carelessness, and they can kind of resent that other people are just not living with that same standard on them as well. So it can leak out as resentment. So they're in the anger triad, but they suppress their anger and it kind of leaks out as resentment. And the truth that their heart needs to know that sets them free, this is their core longing, is you are good, meaning you are already good. It's not based on the mistakes or your perfection. It's just you are good. So when they can live from that base in life, they can be present and just live in their spiritual giftings and be with people, and it not be a coping strategy that they're trying to, maintain. And next is type 2. This is my type. They are called the helper or the supportive advisor. And so the childhood message that seemed true to them is it's not okay to have your own needs. This literally, like, I can talk for myself, like there's like a great anxiety around like having a need and having to like vocalize that to other people. The emotional pattern of twos is to look away from their own needs and be in tune with other people. So the core fear of type 2 is being rejected or being rejected and unwanted, being thought worthless, needy, inconsequential, dispensable, or unworthy of love. And then the core desire is being appreciated, being loved and wanted. And then the core vice is pride. And what that looks like, it can be hidden, but this is the core vice of twos is pride. Denying their own needs and emotions while using their strong intuition to discover and focus on the emotions and needs of others, confidently inserting your helpful support in hopes that others will say how grateful they are for your thoughtful care. So, yeah, this tendency to look away from the self, I don't need anything, I'm good, is kind of the vice that shows up with this type of programming. And then the core longing that actually sets them free, they're seeking for this message in life. And when their heart really believes it, it sets them free to be in the present. And that message for type 2 is you are wanted and loved. When we can believe that I am wanted. I'll go more into my story because, man, it's literally the underlying thing that's been there. It's like me no longer entertaining this idea of needing something outside of myself to prove to me that I'm wanted, but for me to live from that reality and that I'm loved and that I am love, not that I have to do something to prove that I am that. And yeah, I've been learning that so much in my work, why everything I've been doing, it's felt like my work wasn't in the present. I was still trying to prove myself. I was still trying to make it good enough. Like I was running from the underlying shame that's driving a lot of my behavior. And it's just a manifestation of not really being present, not really knowing something in my heart that will stabilize me in my calling and identity. So yeah. So next is type 3. They are called the successful achiever. And the childhood message that they believed that seemed true is it's not okay to have your own feelings and identity. So the byproduct of that, they have a core fear of being exposed as or thought incompetent, inefficient, or worthless, failing to be or appear successful. So they moved into becoming what other people consider successful, because it's not okay for me to have my own feelings, my own like heart and desires. It's like I have to become what people respect. And so there's that fear of failing or appearing not successful. And so the core desire is having high status and respect, being admired, successful, and valuable. And then the core vice is deceit. And what that looks like for them is deceiving yourself into believing that that you are only the image you present to others, embellishing the truth by putting on a polished persona for everyone, including yourself, to see and admire. So, in a way, it's like they've lied to themselves, so they lie to you. It's not always conscious like that, but yet it's deceit. They believe they are the image that they are portraying. And that's how they're managing the underlying shame that's hidden below. And then the message that sets them free, that their heart needs to know, is you are loved for yourself, for simply being yourself. When their heart can know that, when people can love them, and however that message gets through for their heart to come into that knowing, that's what's going to set them free from the pattern, and that they can flow in their authenticity. And they're still going to be achievers, but it won't be a coping strategy that's at play. They'll just bring that to the world. And then type 4. Type 4 is called the romantic idealist, or no, sorry, not idealist, individualist. They're the individualists. And the childhood message that they believed is it's not okay to be too functional or too happy. And it's this feeling like being flawed. So it's like I can't really participate in the world as it is. Like it's like I'm on the outside of this experience. And the core fear that came out of that is the fear of being inadequate, emotionally cut off, the fear of being plain, mundane, defective, flawed, or insignificant. And when you think about a core fear, you run from your core fear. So you don't want this to be true. You try to make sure this doesn't happen. So they start to individuate themselves and stand out and be different in a way. So the core desire is being unique, special, and authentic. So that's the desire of the heart. That's what they're going after. And then the core vice that is there because of the lie that they've believed is envy. It gives them a propensity towards being jealous of other people. And what that looks like for them is feeling that you're tragically flawed, that something foundational is missing inside of you, and others possess qualities you lack. So most experiences will be like confirming that to them. See, something's wrong with me. More proof something's wrong with me. They have something I don't. And then the message that sets their heart free is you are seen and loved for exactly who you are, special and unique. So again, right, we chase after what we don't believe to be true. We try to go get it. When our heart knows we already are the thing we're trying to be, then we can become present again and live at rest. And the reality is that type 4s are already special and unique. They don't have to go and differentiate themselves. They already are that, and they're seen for that uniqueness. And next is type 5. We're moving into the head triad, out of the shame triad. So we're in the fear and anxiety quadrant. Quadrant implies 4, and there's 3, so it's not a quadrant. Try. So type 5 is the next one. And they are called the investigative thinker or the investigator. So the childhood message that they believed is it's not okay to be comfortable in the world. Like I can't come and be one. I've got to go and prepare. I've got to get ready. It's not okay to be comfortable in the world. And the core fear related to that childhood belief that they start to run from is being alienated, invaded, or not existing, being thought incapable or ignorant, having obligations placed upon you, or your energy being completely depleted. It's like that fear of, man, the world is going to ask too much of me. So I don't want that to happen. I don't want to be invaded. And they don't like being thought incapable, because that's that thing. I'm not ready to join the world. So there's that sense of making yourself ready. And the core desire of type 5 is being capable and competent. So they end up going into the head, learning, researching, becoming the expert, preparing themselves. And so overall, the core desire isn't a bad thing. It's a desire to be capable and competent. But yeah, when they're believing the lie, they have a propensity towards the weakness or the vice of type 5, which is avarice, or greed is another word for it. But how it shows up for type 5 is feeling that you lack inner resources and that too much interaction with others will lead to catastrophic depletion. So, withholding yourself from contact with the world, holding onto your resources, and minimizing your needs. So, the message that sets them free, though, what their heart needs to know and believe is your needs are not a problem. It's an interesting connection that when they know that their needs are not a problem, they can join the world. They can stop limiting and hoarding their resources and fearing being, something using them up or spending them up, people asking too much of them and them being too much for others, for other people too, where they're like self-reliant. They can start to join and come and be comfortable in the world, have needs, and in a way become more generous and not be just focused on that lack and preservation. And then next is type 6. They are called the loyal guardian or the loyalist. And the childhood message that seemed true to them is it's not okay to trust yourself. Man, that could be, an authority told you like, what do you know? You're just a child. Or you thought you did the right thing. And it's like the authority says, no, like you can't. Don't listen to yourself. You need to listen to us. Whatever it is that got this message into them, it's the belief that it's not okay to trust yourself. So the core fear that they run from is fearing fear itself, being without support, security, or guidance, being blamed, targeted, alone, or physically abandoned. This is connected to that. I can't trust myself. I have to stay connected to others. I need a support system. I need something to guide me. And yeah, I don't want to be isolated. I don't know that I can trust my own judgment. And then the core desire of type 6 is having security, guidance, and support. They are seeking that, to have that support system in some way. Ooh, I just clicked on something and kind of messed up my PDF. How do I make that go away? There we go. Okay, and then the core vice of type 6 is anxiety. So what that looks like for them is scanning the horizon of life and trying to predict and prevent negative outcomes, especially worst case scenarios, remaining in a constant state of apprehension and worry. So it's looking out for what could go wrong. And that being, they're really good at safety things. If you're always seeing what could go wrong with that consciousness of fear, it's like I'm not able to be sure about anything. I don't feel like I can trust myself, so I'm scanning and anything could go wrong. And they're the most aware of what could happen because of that vice. And then the truth that sets their heart free, when they believe this and can know this within themselves, it sets them free from the anxiety. And that message is you are safe and secure. When they can have that sense of I am safe, they can relax, they can be in the present moment again and not just be in their head scanning for negative possibilities. And yeah. And they are the loyalist, they're the guardian, they are very community oriented, but they're able to not be like codependent on the community. They have this tug of war between like respecting the authority and needing the authority and then resenting the authority because their true identity is more courageous than fearful. So, but that's their journey to walk. They become courageous when they know that they're safe. And then type 7. Type 7 is also in the head triad, and they are called the entertaining optimists or the enthusiasts. And the core childhood message that they believed is it's not okay to depend on anyone for anything. Think about that. as a child that was proven to them in some way that seemed true. It's not okay to depend on anyone for anything. I've got to take care of myself. I've got to make myself happy. And from that, the core fear of type 7 is being deprived, trapped in emotional pain, limited, or bored, and missing out on something fun. So think of that. They will run from such situations. And so that is connected to the core desire. The core desire of type 7 is being happy, fully satisfied, and content. So again, I'm not going to depend on somebody else to give me that. I'm going to go find that for myself. I'm going to keep my own bucket full. And that leads them to the vice, the weakness of gluttony. And what that looks like for them is feeling a great emptiness inside and having an insatiable desire to fill yourself up with experiences and stimulation in hopes of feeling completely satisfied and content. So they have that aversion to experiencing pain, that aversion of being bored, and it keeps them in their head planning positive things for them to fill their life up with. That it's, again, as I described, all of the Enneagram types is how we're not present. So yeah, it keeps them in the future. And the truth that sets type 7s free, that their heart needs to know. And when they really believe this, they can come back into the present. And that truth, their core longing is, you will be taken care of. You see the contrast of the childhood message versus the truth that sets them free. It's not okay to depend on anyone for anything. And now they see, no, I will be taken care of. That produces rest in them, that they can be in the present, they can flow, and their gifts can be readily available to the world. And that's where we experience our connection with God. And the Enneagram is looking at how we think we're in the presence of God, but we're not, because we're in the grip of our coping strategy still, because we don't quite know the thing our heart needs to know. So the truth for type 7 is, you will be taken care of. And next is type 8. So type 8 is in the gut triad, 8, 9, and 1, with the core emotional struggle with anger. And type 8, they are the protective challenger. And the childhood message that seemed true to them, that their heart began to believe, is it's not okay to be vulnerable or to trust anyone. Vulnerability didn't go well. When I was weak, people ran in on me, and I can't do that again. And so that is connected to the core fear of type 8 is being weak. They will run from these things to not be in this situation. So they fear being weak, powerless, harmed, controlled, vulnerable, manipulated, or left at the mercy of injustice. Yeah, they don't let that happen. And the core desire of type 8 is protecting yourself and those in your inner self. So this is really cool with type 8. So in a way, they're the child that had to grow up fast, and they start looking out for the underdog. They start watching out for their tribe and protecting other people's little child in a way, but they can't be weak because they are watching out for everybody else. It's that kind of thing. So yeah, they're protecting themselves and those that they love. And then the core vice or weakness is lust or excess. And what that looks like for type 8 is constantly desiring intensity, control, and power, pushing yourself willfully on life and people to get what you desire. So yeah, they're not going to be weak. They want to have the power. They want to have control over their own life and to attain the things that they want in life. Ends up being connected to that too. They have a really big heart. They're like teddy bear on the inside, very big heart, but it's like, who can I trust with this heart? So, but they go after what they want. And then the core message or the core longing of their heart that they need to know to be true, not just like chasing a desire, but when their heart actually believes this, it begins to ease up the coping strategy and the vice and the fear that has been holding them. And that message is, you will not be betrayed. That like when you find your type, you should feel these sentences. If you're a type 8, when you know you won't be betrayed, you can be weak. You can be vulnerable. You can be open. You're not fearing that somebody's going to backstab you. And yeah, so the type 8 can soften and let people in. And then last but not least is type 9. Type 9 is also in the gut triad, the anger triad. They have the tendency to deny their anger, and they are called the peaceful mediator or the peacemaker. And the childhood message that seemed true to them, life proved this to them, is that it's not okay to assert yourself. Yeah, it's not okay to assert yourself. And they have the core fear of this is what they're running from. They won't let this happen. They try not to be in this situation. So their core fear is being in conflict. They hate conflict, tension, and discord. They fear feeling shut out or overlooked and losing connection and relationship with others. So, and then they have the core desire of having inner stability and peace of mind. So when you look at this, it's a willingness to go numb to yourself, numb to your own anger, to maintain peace and have stability inside and out. And the core vice of type 9 is sloth. There was another word for it, but yeah, sloth. What that looks like is remaining in an unrealistic and idealistic world in order to keep the peace, remaining easygoing and not be disturbed by your anger, falling asleep to your passions, abilities, desires, needs, and worth by merging with others to keep peace and harmony. So, what is the truth that sets a type like this free? The thing that their heart needs to know. It's basically, you are worth the conflict. And that is, your presence matters. When their heart knows that their presence matters, they can assert themselves. They can be themselves. They can return to their passions. They can return to their voice. They're a type that really knows the value of other people's voices. They want to make sure that other people are not stepped on and that other people are heard. But what their heart needs to know is your presence matters. And you don't need to just be in the background. It's okay to cause a conflict in being yourself and walking out your own path. So that is the fullness of the 9 types. That's what the Enneagram is. It is the ways that we fall into our own coping strategies that makes it hard for us to be present. We don't even discern that we're not present because we've been doing these things since we were a child. And the journey back into the light is the truth that our heart needs to know that sets us free. And so the Enneagram, as a certified life coach in this space, I help people discern what health looks like for them and to see these patterns in themselves, and then to kind of begin to wake up from them, to be who they really are, to come back and to find that truth that they need to know, and to also be able to recognize when they're falling into the pattern. Like me knowing that I'm a type 2 has helped me so much, because it's kind of like I can't unsee when I'm doing the thing that comes from a lie in my life. So I know my tendencies. I know what my heart is struggling to believe, and I know what truth I need to begin to live from, and how to surrender myself to God and come back into what it looks like to really be here with people and to do the work that I'm called to do, and to not identify myself by the lies that I believed in childhood anymore, and to recognize when, for me specifically, I said I'd go a deeper dive on me. So what this looks like seeing the pride, the vice of type 2, seeing me thinking I don't need anything, thinking I've got it all together, thinking I can go through life denying that I have needs, and just show up and be good to people and find my identity in what people think about me. And I'm appreciated and loved by other people and needing validation. And like, I always need somebody to prove to me that they want me, where it's like, there's so much deep dives in this, but like types 2, 5, and 8, they are in the rejection triad. So they almost default think that they're rejected. So it's like getting out of that consciousness of like being rooted in like the core message of type 2 is you are wanted and loved. To know that that is a constant. It's not up and down. It's not fluctuating. And we have wing types. So, type 2 is next to 1 and 3. So we have a propensity to lean towards one of those. So I'm a 2-wing 3. So I have a lot of the 3 qualities in me as well. They're both in the shame triad. They're both kind of performance oriented types that are willing to become what people need them to be so that they can have value. So it's like seeing that about my heart, and it's like, okay, I'm living in a lie because I'm having that tendency to judge myself and value myself by all of these external things. That's not truly who I am. And it just reminds me like I need to slow down, reconnect to my heart, and begin to be more vulnerable and acknowledge the needs that I have. And this can help me not like resent other people and think like, oh, other people are doing this to me. It's like, no, I'm so willing to disconnect from myself and spin myself and deny myself that then I look up and I'm like, I'm drained. I'm, burnt out. And I'm so attached to so many things where my identity is up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's like, I'm not able to hear God. And so to come back to that, like our relationship with God, each one of us is on a journey of how we come to know God is different based on our type. We need to surrender to God in a different way because of the pain, the trauma, the lies that we are trapped in that has shaped our identity, shaped the way we show up in the world. And coming back to who we really are is a unique journey. And that's what I really love about being an Enneagram coach is I can identify and see the different paths that we're on and the truths that different people need because we have different struggles. And, these, when we look at, are you on your path? Are you in alignment? It's like different types of misalignments. One chiropractic alignment is different for one person than what another person needs. So this is the journey of the heart, coming back to God, coming back to your purpose, coming back to what you're on this earth to do. And the reality is what you're here to do requires you to be in the present. This has been such a revealing journey as I've been on this path of entrepreneurship and Firestarters, my community of raising up entrepreneurs, helping them start to use their voice and to market and network. This journey of Firestarters and entrepreneurship is really the journey of getting healthy in your Enneagram, getting back on your path and bumping into all your triggers and letting that stuff fall off, getting that healing and freedom to keep walking into the gift that you are to the world. Which I truly do believe that every person is an entrepreneur. It's just either our gifts are covered, we don't value what we carry. It's contained in some way. We're stuck in fear, we're stuck in shame, we're stuck in anger. Different things that has us, maybe we have a hard boundary against our own purpose. Maybe we're not letting people in. Maybe we're stuck in our own perfectionism that we don't ever let ourselves flow as we truly are, like all of these things. We can all relate to certain experiences, but like that deep rooted thing really speaks to the Enneagram type that you are. And you'll see it throughout the whole journey of your life. It's like that really is the core struggle I've been dealing with. And it speaks to, this is what I exemplify in health is something different, for me, like the type that is seeking love, seeking to be wanted, in their health, they are unconditional love versus love with a string attached and needing appreciation. It's being called up to what you really are versus the trauma. We can always have a victim story for our whole life. And it's like, this person didn't love me well. I love people so well, and I'm hurt because I didn't get what I needed from them. And really, the world, God, your whole purpose is calling for you to be the essence that you are. It's like, that's what I am, is unconditional love. So it's like getting out of this consciousness of what the world owes me, but realizing what I am. And when you know what you are and you know the truth, you can come back to the present and you can offer that to the world. You can bring the beauty of that whole journey that you've been walking, where you got to experience so much, and then you have compassion for the world because there's so many people just like you with the same thing, and you leveled up. You made it through that and you healed, you recognize the truth, and you can coach other people through your life lived. You can empower other people into being who they truly are and coming back into the present. So that is the journey of the Enneagram. If you'd like to get typing on knowing your exact Enneagram type, if you'd like help with that, go to my website, typologycorner.com. It's listed right over here, typologycorner.com, and book a session with me. It is called Enneagram Typing. Book it, pick a day, and we'll meet. And I've got a beautiful process to help you come into that realization. It is your own journey. So it's really awesome getting to help people come to see that and to land on their true type. And in general, if you'd like coaching, if you feel like you're going through something specific that you'd like to talk with me about, I coach people based on their types, but I also coach people who just feel stuck and they want to work through something. You can go to my website, Typology Corner, and book a coaching with Rachel session, and we can just flow and work through what's coming up for you as well. So, more about just my own journey, though, just a little bit before we wrap up. Just to make it a little practical, like in my business journey, I've been seeing how shame was there, like keeping me, like keeping tabs on the past and trying to fix the past, and always being identified by, this is the kind of person that I like to be. This is how I like to be to people. And I'm not meeting those things. Or I want to show up for people so well. I want to do a great presentation. I want to do a great video. I want to talk about the things that I'm passionate about. This is how it practically is showing up. It's like I had this awareness of my calling. I knew I was called to raise up a network marketing community called Firestarters. I knew I was supposed to create a business about personality types and helping people see themselves and to heal. And I knew I was supposed to move to Africa. That's a new thing that emerged in the last 4 years, and I now live in Nairobi, Kenya. And in the midst of all of these things, I also knew I was supposed to be online ministering. That started first. I started on YouTube back in like 2022 and started sharing my testimony and how God like brought me out of religion and stuff and just into the kingdom of God, and sharing how to hear the voice of God and stuff like that. But the heavy thing that God is showing me is like the underlying shame that has been driving and making everything so much more hard. Back to the core thing that I need to believe is that I'm loved, that I am loved, that I'm wanted, that I don't have to adjust myself to make sure that I'm wanted, and trying to like ensure, how can I guarantee that what I put out there is valuable to people? And that pressure led into perfectionism. It led into me not thinking I am enough. At the core, I'm not enough. I have to become enough. And the willingness to run from the shame of not enoughness and try to meet that so that I'm not shamed in what I'm doing. It's like putting so much pressure that I'm not able to be myself. I'm not giving myself permission to be present in the work that I'm doing, that my work always feels like I'm working on getting it good enough. Someone asked me about my work and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of do this, I kind of do that. It's like, it's a work in progress, you know, It's that sense of like not really opening your doors and being open for business, you know? And I just have been seeing this as God is showing this to me more and more, that like I'm an Enneagram coach. I've been helping other people, but I got my own stuff. Like if I don't, you know, put my needs out there, let God show me what's really going on in my heart. I put that in the light and see, hey, I am struggling with a lie, because there's no reason for me to find myself back in shame, back in performance if the lie still didn't seem true. You know, as I was talking about, the childhood message of type 2 is it's not okay to have your own needs. And this deteriorates into the need to be needed. you know, finding identity in that versus the truth. You were wanted, you were loved. It's not a fluctuating reality where I'm always thinking like, does my audience want to hear what I have to say? Do you want to hear this? I need to like categorize myself and put my calling over in this corner. I got to make sure that the people who want this is over here. Cause like if I put it on my main place, what if people don't like this? Right. And I saw that how that drove a lot of my decisions in like compartmentalizing everything that I love and that I couldn't just like be love, share what I love, and just like be happy for the people that are looking for this and to meet the need for them and to love the work. See, this is back to our work being in the present. What we're called to do is in the present. When we're in the present, that is the very role of being an entrepreneur. Present means I am here, I'm available, I'm accessible. The things that I offer, the things that I am, I'm here with you guys and you can meet with me. That makes the work of life in the present, not in the future. We're not stuck in the past. So that is something that is unraveling in me this week. Like right now, like I've been moving, you know, there's been a lot of work and I'm not gonna like deny all the transformation that's happened. But I heard this one person talk about this, like how trauma works is that it's cyclical, that like you move through something on the inner circle and then it's like the bigger circle around it and then the bigger circle. So you end up like being in a similar area, but you have grown. You're out here and you're experiencing it in a different way. So this is like the unwinding of the lies and getting them out of your consciousness. So you're truly in the consciousness of the truth. And the truth sets us free. And the beginning of even being in a place where the truth can set you free, you got to not be in denial. You have to be able to see yourself. And that's what the journey of the Enneagram is, starting with like letting yourself receive the light enough to kind of see through the illusion of maybe what you thought your life has been, to see the thing that you've actually been struggling with. And then the fruit that comes off of that tree that is related to that. So yeah, guys. So that is the journey of the Enneagram. And every Tuesday, I'm going to be talking about all things personality types. I'm going to be sharing with you guys about this system. And my other system is called objective personality. I shared about that on a previous one in a bit more depth, and I will go into that more. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for watching. Again, if you want to book a session with me, go to my website, typologycorner.com, and I'd love to meet with you. Thank you all who commented, who stopped by. I didn't look at them too much. I am seeing them now. Thank you, Pastor Shazad. Thank you, Pam, Joseph, and let's see, Zam something. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. He said, psychology should be made a common unit in any and all schools. It will be a better place. Absolutely. You said, thanks, sister. I'm listening to your gems. I'm so glad that it's resonating. And I so agree. Like this should be common knowledge. This is the thing that we should be teaching each other about our hearts, because it's going to help us in every area of life, because this is the journey we're all on in the midst of everything that we're going through. And psychology is the work of the soul. Even Yeshua, he came to redeem the souls of man. That's what this work is. It's not to look away from the soul like it's bad. It's like, no, your soul was made a particular way. You have certain gifts. You have a certain heart journey that you're on. And that's where we meet God in the midst of that. So it's so important. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for the comments. Thank you for those that join me live. If anybody is joining later, you could drop in the comments the word replay. And also, if there's anything around typology, the Enneagram, anything that you'd like for me to talk about that you find interesting, I'd love to see that as well in the comments. And also, if you can discern what Enneagram type you are, I'd love to read that as well. Drop your best guesses in the comments. And if you'd like help really knowing your type, book a session with me, and I'd love to meet you there as well. So thank you so much, guys. Bless you all, and I will see you on the next video.